We asked some of you if you had questions you wanted to turn in, and I'll pick just one of the ones. This was a question that was asked by John Fahey, and it's kind of related to the work that John's doing on the Process and Reality book by Whitehead. John says, is process more accurately thought of as a cosmology as opposed to a philosophy? And if so, how do you practice a cosmology? So that's John Fahey's question of a while ago. Does that question make sense? And can you respond?
Obviously, everything depends on how you define terms. But Whitehead calls the process of reality a cosmology.
Okay.
So there's no question. And I think that the distinction between a cosmology and a philosophy would not have made sense in Athens, and it would not have made sense in the Middle Ages. But the change is that whereas, of course, there was always some physical science, it was not so technical and so specialized and so separated from the general culture that if you did a philosophy, you were, of course, interested in all the questions that belong to science. But once Descartes made a sharp separation between the natural world and the human world, then cosmology, which includes both, became different and specialized. And philosophy focused almost exclusively from the human side. If you think of the work of Locke and Hume and Berkeley, that is referred to considerably, they don't really engage with the science of that time. I don't mean that it's a complete separation, but they're not trying to think about what the world is like from the side of the science. They tend to focus on the question, how do we know anything?
Which is still a focus on the human.
It's how humans know anything. So Whitehead's return to introducing science into philosophy, or insisting that scientists recognize that what they have abstracted from the whole is an abstraction. And really the abstraction that is science needs the broader questions of philosophy, is a break that I don't mean there are no other people who've tried to do cosmology, but I don't know anything comparable to what Whitehead did. There is an interest in cosmology coming from the Teilhardian tradition. And so we have the universe story, but that takes science as it is. Whereas Whitehead thinks when you really integrate science with what we know about our own experience and about human beings, science needs to change. So I think the kind of cosmology that the Greeks will recognize as being philosophy, that is the love of wisdom, is a very rare phenomenon today. And Whitehead's very rigorous efforts to...
So philosophy has been marginalized in a lot of training of scientists these days.
More like specialized.
Specialized.
Yeah.
Very small area.
Yeah. So this, in my view, there has been no real philosophy since they got separated. I mean, that's a harsh way of saying it, but there have been studies of epistemology, but when you try to abstract epistemology from issues of the human brain and the physical body. Well, it's very abstract, and I don't think it's not the way in which genuine philosophy could ever operate. You're always looking for something deeper. So, in my view, cosmology does open up lots of implications for practice in a way that most contemporary philosophy doesn't.
Philosophy wouldn't be concerned about the details of what's going on in Los Angeles or in the sustainability plan for a county.
I think that that is a religious interest, and I think religion is inherently cosmological. And to the extent that churches have given up on engaging on the nature side of the spectrum, theology has no longer really been dealing with God's world. It's I think the dualism instituted by Descartes and as the foundation of the modern world has made has almost ended authentic theology, authentic philosophy, and I would even say authentic science.